Can?
No, he can't.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Dennis.
I would love to see that happen. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
I'll
anything
work for the
possible.
prosecution. I'll question Bree on the stand. Let's
Hello,
go.
ma'am.
All right, is everybody here?
You ain't.
I think Mr. Braun's attorney. I need to talk to you.
No, that's
Okay.
Mr. Braun, where's your attorney?
I believe.
Ask for a
she
recess
was,
before I have to go on the
I
stand,
don't know,
okay?
Your Honor.
With Choi outside.
Okay.
Talking.
Can I stand here?
Come over here. Come over here.
Well, it is 7. I'm sorry, it is 10.
I don't know what side to stand on.
Did I punch him
Stand on this,
in the
this
head
side.
or in the
It's an
chest?
acute point.
Maybe.
Doesn't say.
Yeah. This way.
So I just say the chest.
It's very soothing. Yeah, of course. The report just says punched.
Okay.
I'll get you a drink later.
I'm gonna give your attorney 60 seconds to get in here.
Here, let me put out a state announcement.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you. You here to arrest me, Splainer, for perjury?
Oh, I can't arrest anybody. I just press charges.
True. Ain't it?
Well, are you gonna press that dumb perjury charge on me?
Well, it's already pressed.
There.
For what? Where's your evidence?
I've already displayed what I need to display.
That you're a jackass?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Murphy, come on.
Why does Labar look like a zombie?
Probably sick of dealing with you.
That's fair.
Who's this guy? Who are you? Oh. Oh, okay. Didn't recognize you. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, damn, he's taking the laptop. Let's move my pick.
I think that minute's up.
Yep.
Yep,
minute's up.
start.
I'm
Yep.
gonna call this court case into session. Let's take a look here. Let's go over contempt really quick. No outbursts. No excessive cussing. No interrupting or talking in the peanut gallery too loudly, especially when testimony is being given or something is being said by myself or the attorneys. I could try to be a little bit louder, but this is the best I can do right now.
That's perfect.
So, sorry.
That's fine.
That's heaps
You're
better
fine.
now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Let me pull this case up here.
Get this done.
I have a few moments with my client.
No. Okay, I'm going to try to paraphrase this. On February 22nd, 2020, Murphy Braun was called to MRPD by Frank Williams to represent Sonya Summers as a public defender. Upon Mr. Braun's arrival, Miss Summers feigned injury. Am I saying that right? What is that word? Goodness. In the holding cell, and EMS was brought to PD to render aid. Miss Summers attacked Mr. Braun when the cell door was open to allow treatment of her injuries and struck Mr. Braun repeatedly in the head. The rest goes on to state some of the medical claims by Mr. Braun. And then it goes into some DOJ stuff. So relief, Mr. Braun is requesting $50,000 in punitive damages, as well as $150,000 in lost wages. We have some evidence attached here. Is everybody ready to begin?
Yes, Your Honor.
There is a motion for continuance on the docket.
Yeah, there's a lot of motions on the docket, Your Honor, that are very confusing to me at the moment. Are we just like doing away with those? I would just like to ask.
Which ones are you talking about? Just the
all of
one
them.
From... I believe I ruled on the other motions. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna go back and look at this motion. Court is in recess for 4 minutes.
Alrighty, thank you.
Anyone want bingo cards?
Hey, Flink.
Swear to God, if court gets pushed back,
I would
will
love a
not
bingo.
shut
I would
up.
love a bingo card.
Who said that?
I will take a
Did you
warrant.
say he's
Take a
got
warrant,
like a
Flink.
I
charge
will
against
take a
him?
warrant.
Don't
If
take
we
the
win-
warrant.
Something
he's
like
being, he's being
Warrants
charged
are
with
for
perjury.
weeks. Poland, don't
So-
do that.
Is he like is he
How you
allowed
doing,
to
Dr.
be
Choi?
at court, or does he have to be in jail, or does the court
doesn't
take
sound good.
like
How's that
priority
process?
over jail?
The court takes priority, and whenever he is remanded
get
in
peaches?
the main county is when he will face his charge.
What'd you get?
Okay, I understand now. All right.
Speaking of which, Frank, are you
why does
on
that
duty right
matter
now?
so much?
Yes.
Can you put that warrant out for me?
Yeah.
You just like copy and paste what I put in the distribution.
What,
list.
like there's like an actual like timer and everything you want to do?
I can do that.
Thank you. I wish I could put my own warrants out, but no.
I wish I had a way bigger third monitor.
Yeah, this actually gives granted us a continuance. Honestly, I
Hey,
hope they drop it.
does perjury affect his bar license, or is that one of those?
If proven
Think-
guilty,
Other
yes, he
people?
loses bar license.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Gotcha.
My opening and closings are pretty scathing.
All right.
I hope you enjoy them.
All right.
You got the Animal Crossing version?
You couldn't just spray
so
paint your old
jealous.
controller?
Troy, shut up.
I'm so jealous.
Oh boy.
God, I want one so bad. Yeah, but it's not the same.
You say one stroke? What'd you say?
Is that first at the end?
Oh my god, this is so me.
Why you gotta hate on somebody's happiness, man? Why you gotta hate on somebody's happiness?
Just the way she's.
I wonder if that
Dude,
is
she's
first.
so small.
That's amazing.
Is it just me, or is the draft louder in here? Every single
It is.
time?
I cancel that out if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so took a look at your motion here. I think at this point, since this case has been rescheduled multiple times, as well as the fact that this motion was only put in 40 minutes ago, I'm going to deny it at this time.
Whoa. Before you deny it, Your Honor. This was put in 40 minutes ago because I just became aware of the situation. Mr. Braun has reduced mental capacity. Today was when the district attorney did file whatever he's trying to do in this docket on a civil matter that I don't even understand as an attorney. It's upset my client. I've been notified by Dr. Choi that he does in fact have medical conditions, and that we think he does need to get evaluated at this time. So we would like to get this
All right, hang on.
rescheduled for a later point.
Hang on. I've been in ongoing medical treatment. That part is fine. That can be established in court. What I'm concerned about is this perjury charge. It is being put upon me that I will be charged with perjury based on this court case, ahead of this court case. I want to resolve that perjury business. That could end my entire career in disgrace. So
It's very
that's
emotional,
been
Your
placed
Honor.
ahead of this by the DA, who stuck his nose into a civil matter, and I need that resolved in some way or addressed in some way before we can proceed.
Okay. What is I don't know anything about this perjury charge, so
I
there
don't
was a
even know
note-
why it's even mentioned in this civil case at all. I don't know why the DA's even put his nose into this case.
Okay, let's go ahead and address this right now. There was a notification posted about 2.5 hours ago Says Mr. Braun has been practicing as an attorney. Reference the People v. Jordan Steele.
What is
Due to this? Hold on. Can you let me finish? God damn it! Damn it! Let me finish talking. You know what? I went off on Officer Knight earlier because I'm talking to him, and the son of a bitch kept interrupting me when he wanted a goddamn answer. Now listen, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Due to his affirmation in the court dockets, he has been a physical.
That he has, it's a typo, Your Honor.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand why that was placed inside this court docket when it has no weight or bearing on this court case, this civil case.
Evidence was borrowed from the civil case to substantiate
From
the perjury
this
charge.
very civil case. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then you should put that on a separate entire thing and leave it out of this court case. You see what I'm
Understood, Your
saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
It imposes undue pressure upon me, Your Honor, to
Yeah.
drop this case from the DA, who has blindsided us at the 11th hour.
Well,
Which
this
is
isn't
why
a
this
criminal
has been-
proceeding, Mr. Braun. As you know, this is a civil.
Well, this is why we've asked for a motion to continue it to this point. We're not ready to drop the case, but we need to resolve the underlying issue
I
of
think
this.
we've tied up the courts and your client and her over there. I think we've
Ms.
tied
Summers.
this up. Yes.
Well,
Ms. Summers.
unfortunately, this would be classified as a
Well,
trigger event for my client.
right.
And we would ask on
And
medical.
at the same time,
Well, we have to be lenient on his medical condition, Your Honor.
We have
If that's the
everybody here.
case-
We have everybody to move on.
You're here to represent me.
takes-
The medical
it-
stuff is not an issue, Okada. Don't worry about it. That's
it
not.
takes. You know what it takes to get everybody in this courtroom.
Yes.
Okay.
If we're all here and the
Yeah.
perjury stuff is dealt with,
I think we owe the plaintiff and the defendant our time here in court today to resolve this matter at hand and let them go about their lives.
Can I have
Indeed.
a minute with my client so I can make sure he's of sound
What do you
mind?
think, Katya? Give him a few
Did
minutes to
you-
talk to him.
Did you not just have a few moments with your client, sir?
yeah. What do we need another couple minutes for? Let's
Let
get
me
this.
talk to my client and just give me like 1 or 2 minutes and I should be good.
Give him
I'll
five.
give you a minute and 30 seconds.
This is amazing so far.
Mm-hmm.
Come up in here and tell me I'm gonna run my courtroom. Let me turn this mic off. Son of a bitch. Cover up this mic right here. You got the fucking nerve of that son of a bitch. Huh?
Hey, Labar, what I gotta do to get Choi found in contempt?
If she turns around and looks at you.
Thank you.
Apologies, Your Honors. I just could not understate the gravity of the perjury charges relates to my profession in the city before proceeding. But thank you for your time on that matter.
Uh-huh.
All right, we're
Alright.
ready to go forward.
Great. Let's start with opening. Plaintiff, go ahead.
On February 22nd, 2020, Mr. Braun was called down as a public defender by officers Frank Williams for one Sonya Summers. Sonya Summers feigned an injury in the cells where she was able to somehow assault Mr. Braun's interaction in front of Mr. Williams. Mr. Braun was being medically treated at the time for brain surgery. A bullet that was shot through his left eye that was lodged in his front left lobe. We also have the neurosurgeon here today to explain what Mr. Braun has been going through. Thank you.
All right. Defense.
Thank you, Your Honours. The reason why we're here today is to hear the death rattle of a once great attorney disguised as a civil suit against my client. It is a waste of my client's time, it is a waste of the court's time, It is also 2020 and we risk the wrath of the people if we don't kowtow and entertain the frivolities of the indigent layman.
Nice purple shoes, you dick.
Okay. Plaintiff, go ahead and call your first witness or go over evidence.
That's you, Okada.
Yes, I am very well aware. I will call Officer Frank Williams.
Where's our
Right.
bailiff?
I can do it, Your Honor.
Who was supposed to be bailiff? I don't think anybody responded.
Thanks for being here for this, Frank.
Yeah,
Larry, you can swear people. in,
Yes.
that's fine.
you've made his day.
You really did.
He's a court officer. It's all right.
All right, Officer Williams, go ahead and raise your left hand for me, please. Do you swear and affirm to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Mitch?
I do.
Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
All right. Start you direct.
Can you state your name and profession there, Mr. Williams?
My name is Frank Williams, and my profession is a member of the LSPD here in the great city of Los Santos.
On February 22nd, were you on shift that day?
If that is the day in question, yes.
Did you arrest Miss Sonya Summers that day?
I did.
Did you write police report 17991? And do you have a copy of it?
One second. If that's the report that it has my name on it, then yes, I wrote it, but I'm not 100% sure the number of it as we go through the many reports.
It's listed on the docket. Do you need a minute to grab a copy?
Hold on, I can grab it on my phone here. What day was it again?
February 22nd, 2020, sir.
Yeah, I got it here. 17991.
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Do you recall these events?
Yes, vaguely, yes.
All right. Did Miss Sonya Summers plead guilty to this report?
Yes, she did.
All right. Did Miss Sonya Summers assault and commit battery on Mr. Braun?
Yes, she did.
How did Miss Summers commit battery on Mr. Braun?
Well, she had said she needed medical attention. She was pretending to be injured and laying down on the ground. I had to get the cell open for EMS to go in, and she had tricked me. So at that point, there was a bunch of people around the cell, and I could not successfully get a tase off or try to incapacitate her without potentially harming someone else in the area. So she did come out of the cell and strike Mr. Braun.
How many times did you strike Mr. Braun?
Once.
Did Miss Summers request Mr. Braun by name?
Yes, she did.
No other questions for him at this time.
Okay, go ahead and cross.
What was Murphy Braun's immediate response to being punched by Miss Summers?
He was shocked, I guess.
At any point, did he ever alert you to his depreciated mental and physical capacity?
He
Objection.
Mm-hmm.
Layperson.
Okay, rebuttal.
What was the objection, sorry, Your Honor? I didn't hear it.
Getting into
Layperson.
layperson.
No rebuttal, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you know now, Genzu, he wasn't asking the opinion of a layperson. He was asking if Mr. Braun had mentioned anything about his mental state. So I'm actually gonna overrule. You can ask that question.
Yes, Mr. Braun has mentioned beforehand. Me and Mr. Braun have talked previously, and he did mention that he did have surgery after being shot, and his state.
Did Mr. Braun at any point while immediately after being punched, seek medical attention from the EMS that were available?
I believe the EMS sought to him right after they had finished taking the taser prongs out of Miss Summers.
But Murphy Braun didn't alert EMS to his situation?
EMS was in the cells.
I mean,
I don't.
was
I
Murphy
don't- I
Braun
don't know
fleeing
if-
upstairs? I assume he was in close proximity to the cells.
Yes, he was down in the cells because Miss Summers had requested him as a lawyer. So that is after she struck him. She after she struck him, we eventually did get her down and got her in cuffs, and then Mr. Braun sought medical attention by the EMS who were already down there to quote unquote treat Miss Summers. Whether he notified EMS of his medical condition, I don't know. That would be onto EMS and Mr. Braun.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
I just got couple questions.
Mhm.
He didn't.
Were all the doorways locked exiting the jail area of Mission Row?
Do you mean like the door upstairs and like the door leading to the cells and like
Hey.
the
Yes.
hallway? They should have been, yes.
Can you make sure that he's
Could Mr.
100%
Braun gone through those
positive
doors
about
to
that
run away?
medical thing?
No, most likely not if they had been locked.
Doesn't really matter because there's no medical report. I just wanted to put it out there
But just
that your
You know,
prongs
show
your
the
prongs
doubt.
took precedent.
You may step down.
Okay.
Is this
You-
witness up for recall? Even though this is civil.
No, Your Honor.
Alright. Mr. Williams, I appreciate you being here.
All right, good night. See you later.
Yeah, you can go if you'd like.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks,
Have a
Frank.
good one.
Bye, Frank.
Plaintiff, go ahead and call your next witness.
I hate you, Troy.
Dr. Choi saying son.
Alright.
One day I'll get it right.
One day you will get it right. But today is not that day. Jackson.
What are you doing?
Dr. Jackson, would you please raise your left hand? Do you swear and affirm to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Mitch?
I do.
Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
Okay, go ahead and start your direct.
Dr. Choi.
That's good enough.
I'm not even going to try because I'm going to butcher it tonight. Have you been treating Mr. Braun for a brain injury?
I have.
When did this treatment start?
Mr. Braun was found mid to late December. He was given to me for treatment. He was actually operated on in the first 2 weeks of January due to the nature of the wound. The bullet was not in a stable place that I felt safe removing it.
Where are there
So,
bullets on all of
the
it?
second or third week of January is when the
Exactly.
surgery was actually completed.
So January 13th is when the surgery was completed?
Correct.
Did you find Mr. Braun fit to return to practicing law?
At the time, yes, because he doesn't have usually doesn't have a physically demanding job. So I cautioned him to take it easy, that any memories that he felt he wasn't able to return to would come back in time, but that he needed to use his own judgment as far as work. But like I said, because it's not a physically demanding job and he felt confident that he knew enough, he had retained enough about his work that he could pursue it at that time.
Are there side effects to the operation that Mr. Braun had?
Always. Because it was in the left hemisphere of his brain, that's where his motor function is, emotion, behavioral, social behavior, things of that nature. Because I already felt that Mr. Braun was emotionally stunted, I didn't think it would be that much of a cause for concern.
Could you elaborate?
Permission to speak plainly?
Mm-hmm.
He's always been an asshole, and I didn't think that would change anything.
Love you, Troy.
So, are side effects of this constant headaches?
It can be, yes. Of course. I mean, I basically drilled to the middle of his brain and pulled a bullet out, so there's going to be side effects, including headache, pain. Sometimes, I mean, because half of his vision was destroyed, vision issues.
All of these are pre-existing.
What about sensitivity to light?
Sure.
And with a missing eye, would he have poor depth perception?
You don't have depth perception with one eye.
Could you elaborate?
Because you need both eyes for your brain to process depth. If you only have one eye, you are not going to have depth perception.
I don't know what this is relevant to our case. I didn't shoot him.
Would you believe that Mr. Braun was in a fragile mental state after his surgery?
I would never accuse Murphy Braun of being fragile.
Could you elaborate?
Well, like I said, he's always, been aggressive and assertive, and that didn't change. I don't think he would ever allow himself to
So
be
that's a no.
fragile. That
No.
said, he did have a hole in his brain. So physically, he needed to take care of himself.
How does aggression affect being fragile?
See, that's more of a psychological case, but due to someone's nature like Murphy, who is outwardly aggressive and likes to maintain this image of being a strong individual, I feel like that would actually increase and make him more aggressive, if only to cover any perceived mental fragility. Yeah, that was a lot of words. If you need clarification, let me know.
So, in your medical opinion, you're trying to state that he would be possibly more aggressive.
Yes.
Hey, can I just butt in here? Could someone give me a bandage, please?
Do you want me to?
Can you go over there and give him a hand?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Just one of you. Just perfect.
Oh, are you good?
Okay.
Yeah.
13 behind you.
All right, thanks.
Are you all set, Mr. Braun?
Yes. Sorry.
Are you aware of the incident on February 22nd, 2020 with Miss Summers?
I am.
Did Mr. Braun reach out to you after the fact to be diagnosed and treated?
Yes, I performed another MRI to check for any possible damage.
What were your findings?
He had increased swelling in the area, which is 100%
What the fuck?
in line with that sort of damage. He also showed, because you can't find it, it's not visible
This is
on an MRI, he
ridiculous.
also expressed the symptoms of a concussion. Blurry vision, ringing in the ears, headaches.
There's no report for any of this.
Yeah. And they're friends, so.
Would this be the result of being assaulted by an individual?
Yeah, any kind of damage to the head that soon after a serious surgery like the one he had is going to cause damage.
Before the 22nd, did you have any reports from Mr. Braun besides the normal after effects?
Nothing serious, no. He did express some concern about feeling emotions a little more strongly, I believe, but that was it. That is 100% in line with the nature of his injury.
All right. No more questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Dr. Choi.
Mm-hmm.
Ross?
Hello, Dr. Choi.
Hello.
Was Murphy Braun had no medical restrictions whatsoever when he was returned to work?
Like I said, his job is not physically demanding in nature, and I cautioned him to take it slowly. But otherwise, he was, like I said, on 2 feet. He was walking. He was talking. He was, moving in a normal way. So I didn't see any reason for concern for him to be continuing work. Plus, this incident was a month after the surgery, which is plenty of time to give him a little bit of healing time.
Has any medical report relating to the MRI or the follow up after the assault been submitted into evidence?
Repeat the question.
Has any medical report relating to the MRI or the preceding follow up after the assault been submitted into evidence?
Okay, and your rebuttal to that objection?
I did not submit any medical report because at this time we had Dr. Choi's testimony to the report, and she has the only copy.
Okay, and your rebuttal defense?
He directly asked about the follow up and the MRI.
I asked the doctor who could testify to those procedures.
Okay, and you're asking her specifically about the medical report?
If any medical report was submitted.
Again, I've stated I did not submit one because I never received one, but Dr. Choi is here today to testify to any files she has that she's kept records of.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain it's not Dr. Choi's job to submit paperwork on behalf of the plaintiff.
Your Honor, the initial filing did state that a medical report was to be submitted into evidence, and since has not been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one has. There was one. The what was it? The
There's
first
been
one.
no medical report whatsoever. There's only been the release to work.
Yeah, the release to work.
That's a medical report.
It's a glorified note you hand to your teacher, Your Honor.
Well, it's a
Excuse
doctor's
me?
note you hand to your
Excuse me,
teacher.
how
Are
dare
you
you judge Dr.
questioning
Choi
the
like that?
validity of my report?
All
She's
right,
a
everybody,
doctor.
everybody relax.
Yeah, I
everybody
think he is.
relax. Again, yeah, if there's not one submitted under the docket, that's the answer to that question. So I have the answer to that question. You don't need to make her say it. I know the answer to that question. This is a civil case. So again, sustained.
No more questions, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
I have no questions for her.
All right, is this witness going to be recalled?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Dr. Choi, thank you. You may step down. All right, plaintiff, go ahead and call your next witness.
We have anybody else, or is that it?
If you want to call me, I'm down.
Yes, I'll call Mr. Murphy Braun.
Okay.
Mr. Braun, could you go ahead and raise your left hand, please? All right. Do you swear and affirm to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Mitch?
I do.
Thank you. Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Braun, how are you today?
I've been better. I'm very confused today.
Mr. Braun, how long has it been since your surgery?
The surgery would have been in the middle of January, so it's been just over 2 months, I think.
How has your recovery been going?
It had been very promising up until some subsequent injuries apparently has done some additional damage. But I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to talk right now.
Do you recall before this attack by Mrs. Summers how your recovery was going?
No, I don't recall very much aside from the notes that I had taken about being cleared to go to work, but to keep track of how I was doing mentally, which as Dr. Choi said, I have experienced some memory loss, retrograde amnesia from the gunshot, not from what happened in the holding cells, but from the original injury. But that had abated until around the time the attack occurred.
So you keep daily
Say that again?
notes?
Didn't he just do a murder trial?
Yeah.
Yes. Things I need to remember.
The assault on February 22nd, 2020. Do you recall that incident?
Not particularly. I requested the police report pretty quickly though, so been able to keep it in mind.
Did you seek medical treatment that same day?
I don't recall. I know I emailed Choi to set up an appointment, and she was out of town for a couple of days. And then as soon as she got back, I went and saw her for the MRI. That's what my records show.
Do you remember speaking to any EMS that day?
I mean, I know they were there because, you know, it says in the report that
They were
they were
there,
called
but they
down
didn't
to
fucking talk with them.
take out taser prongs. So they must have helped me, as Frank said.
No, they didn't.
Are you currently aware of your recovery and where it's at today?
No, I wouldn't say that I'm particularly aware with memory loss. You know, certain things are hazy and you know that you're having trouble, but if you lose a memory entirely, you don't really know that it ever happened, so it can be tricky.
Have you reached out for assistance with this memory loss?
Well, like I said, it didn't interfere with my job, or so I thought. You know, for a time, it's like, you know, I could still ride a bike, so the things I'd learned, you know, tradecraft and things like that, knowledge that I've accumulated, that stuff is all still there. It's just the memories of my life that aren't so much all gone as out of order. They're reshuffled. So I just have to keep a lot of notes as I go, but now it seems there might be some memory loss happening again. So I'm gonna get that looked into.
So your short-term memories you're having trouble keeping in order?
Yes, like I said, I've been aware of this, but I feel I've now lost track of how extensive it is, and thought it had been on the mend.
I have no more questions right now for Mr. Braun.
Cross.
We have no questions, Your Honor, but we'd like to recall the witness.
Okay. Go ahead and sit down. Plaintiff, do you want their witnesses
Miss
to make
Sonya
the call?
Summers.
Wait.
Hello, Miss Summers. Can you please raise your left hand? Do you swear to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you, Mitch?
I do.
Thank you. Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Miss Sonya Summers, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Do you recall the arrest on February 2nd?
Yes, I do.
Sorry, I mean February 22nd. I apologize. I stated the date incorrectly.
I remember the incident that this case is about, yeah.
Yeah, so you pled guilty to everything in this report?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the battery you committed on Mr. Braun?
Yeah, I pushed him with an open hand into his chest.
Liar!
And in
I'm
fact,
sorry.
I'm pretty sure in all the reports it doesn't say at all that I struck him in the head and multiple times or anything like that. Even Frank said I struck him,
Objection,
but
nobody
didn't
asked
say
her
where
about
it
this.
was. I didn't hit him in the head at all. I don't know
Is
where
that
the
an
hell that's
objection?
coming from.
According to Mr. Braun, he's made an objection.
Okay, well, what is the objection?
Answering questions nobody asked.
What is the? That's not an objection. For narrative, Mr. Braun.
I think he's looking for narrative.
Okay. Yeah, sustained. Ms. Summers, please try to answer questions directly and not trail on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
So you struck Mr. Braun.
Yes, in the chest.
Are you a medical professional?
Do I look like a medical professional?
Not the question I asked.
No, obviously I'm not a medical professional.
So where you struck this individual, how would it be relevant?
Because it's lies that it was in the head, and with my 2 eyes, I witnessed myself push him in the chest. I'm just telling you what happened.
Elaborate on who lied about him being struck in the head.
Well, in the filing, it says he was struck in the head multiple times, and that was already been coming out. That Frank said that's not what happened.
What do you mean? What did Frank Williams say?
I'm not gonna repeat what he said. I mean, you should have been listening. I'm sure the judge was listening.
Oh, I was listening. It seems you know more than I know.
It looks that way, yeah.
Well, I was responding. She had a question for me. I responded back in kind.
Keep going.
You made a statement in the report. Could you read that for me today?
I don't have a copy of it, but if somebody sends it to me, I can do that if I'm requested to.
It's in the docket. It's police report 17991.
Yeah, so if you open the court case, it is the attachment on the first post by Mr. Braun.
I'll send the docket to you. All right, there you go. I sent it to you.
Okay, give me a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Alright. If Murphy Braun goes missing for a couple of months, I, Sonya Summers...
Objection, Your Honor. Scope.
Hey,
What do you mean?
That's what it says here in quotations.
I mean, Murphy Braun is not claiming that Miss Summers kidnapped him, and Murphy Braun is not missing. He's here.
Wait a minute.
It doesn't relate to the assault.
Yeah, what's this got to do with the assault? I'm confused.
This is directly off of the police report attached to this case, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I just asked her to read the statement that she's made according to the officers, according to the report.
Okay, evidence was attached, therefore it can be gone over, so I'm going to sustain. Or sorry, overrule.
Is this a correct statement?
Yeah, it's some words that I said, sure.
Why did you say those particular words?
Because I wanted
Cheers,
to.
dude.
Doesn't mean anything came from it. I say that kind of thing to people all the time. It's not like I do everything I say unless everybody in this room does everything that they say. You know, we'd all be perfect beings.
So you made a statement about someone going missing.
Yeah.
You say this all the time.
Well, you know, I heard that he went missing, so I knew it would, I guess, upset him by saying it. I didn't mean it in any sort of malicious way.
Why did you know that would upset him?
Because he told me he went missing.
What?
Again, I don't know what this has to do with any of this, though.
Oh, well, we're getting there. We're asking questions to your statement in this report. It's an odd statement as me as counsel to read this in a report. So, how did Mr. Braun tell you he went missing?
With his mouth and his words.
When did he tell you?
When he got back.
Did you ever retain Mr. Braun's counsel?
No, I tried to. I called him multiple times, and he wouldn't answer the phone.
How did that make you feel?
Pretty happy, honestly. It's been a pain in my ass. I've got a great lawyer now. Thank God.
Great.
And who's that attorney?
The one standing behind you.
I'm sorry, I don't. Can you state his name for me?
Nick Hamilton.
I expected her to say
What law firm
Will.
does he belong to?
He doesn't belong to a law firm because his law firm threw him under the bus when they took up Murphy Braun as a client.
Which law firm was this?
Stone and Temple. Again, what has this got to do with anything?
Asking questions.
I feel like you're just asking random questions because you literally don't know what to do with this case.
Miss Summers, you will answer
sorry.
the questions
I'm
that he
sorry.
does ask
Okay.
you. Unless
My
your
bad.
attorney wants to step in and object to the line of questioning, you will answer those questions. Thank you.
Okay, yep, my bad.
So, did you have anything to do with Mr. Braun's disappearance previous to this?
Whoa,
incident?
whoa.
Objection, Your Honor.
What do you say? What the hell?
I'm asking a question.
No,
What
I
is
did
the
not.
objection?
Absolutely not.
Hold on. There's an objection on the floor. What is the objection?
Relevance, Your Honor. Mr. Braun's incident before this relevant charge has nothing to do with this case.
It's an odd statement that is listed in the police report that she's openly admitted
I'm
in the
being
court.
badgered here. I am being badgered.
I've asked a straightforward question if she had anything to do with
Are
Mr.
you
Braun's
saying I
disappearance
shot
previously.
him or made
Miss
him go
Summers.
missing? I'm
Miss Summers.
upset.
Alright, take a moment, Miss Summers.
Yeah, I'm
I am
sorry.
going to sustain. I don't find this to be relevant. And actually, there last probably 15 questions I don't find to be relevant, attorney.
Hey.
But
It's
Not
not
my
my
job.
fault that Nick Hamilton here doesn't object to anything. All right, no more questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
you can cross.
Miss Summers, did you
Yes.
punch Murphy Braun down in the Missionary Police Department cells?
No, I pushed him.
Objection asked and answered.
Stenographer.
It was asked. She stated.
I'll
that,
withdraw, Your Honor.
She pushed him.
Okay. Withdrawn. Sustain. Go ahead.
After, excuse me, sorry. After pushing Murphy Braun, were you tased?
Yes.
Did Murphy Braun alert the EMS on scene to his depreciated mental and physical state?
Absolutely not. He was standing there laughing. He thought it was funny.
Objection, speculation.
Speculation.
I never saw him talk to a medic at all. They actually treated me and then left.
She's
Miss
still
Summers,
talking, Your
when-
Honor.
Miss Summers,
sorry.
when there's an objection on the floor. Yeah. Again, he's asking her what she witnessed within this question. Is how
Yeah,
I
he
am
asked
hearing
her
it be
if they
phrased.
did, not if she saw them do it.
The question was, did Mr. Braun alert EMS to his depreciating mental state? Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So he's asking her if she witnessed Mr. Braun stating that to an EMS employee.
No, I did
I'm
not.
sorry, overruled. Go ahead.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Did your taser prong removal take precedent over Murphy Braun's treatment?
Yes.
No
As
more
there was
questions,
no
Your Honor.
treatment. All right.
You got anything you want me to ask her?
Redirect.
Nah, it's fine.
No, no questions for redirect, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Summers, you may step down. Plaintiff, do you have any other witnesses you'd like to call?
You confer with my client? Anything else?
No, we don't have any other witnesses.
No, we will arrest, Your Honor.
Okay, defense. Go ahead and call your.
Got
first
a
witness,
spider on
please.
issue.
Me.
Yes. Sorry, Your
Is that
Honor.
better?
There was just a spider under the desk. We call Murphy Braun to the stand, please, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Braun, I'll remind you you're still under oath. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and start your direct.
Mr. Braun, you are claiming $150,000 for lost wages. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Have you been practicing as an attorney since filing this suit?
No.
You did not defend Jordan Steele 3 days ago?
As of
Objection, relevance.
today, it was brought to my attention.
It's admitted into
Objection
evidence.
On the floor. There's an objection on the floor.
As of. Well,
There's an objection on the floor. Your objection is relevance. Mr. Hamilton, do you have a rebuttal to that?
I mean, the filing, Jordan Steele, the people v. Jordan Steele, Caden Delano has been added into evidence, as well as the subsequent appeal.
Okay, so
Well-
what is the relevance to this court case then? Because there is an objection
Murphy-
of relevance.
Murphy Braun is claiming $150,000 for lost damage, for lost salary, given that he can't practice law.
Okay.
He has since practiced law.
Okay, Ginzu, rebuttal.
Mr. Braun was given the clear, I believe, on the 13th of March, according to Dr. Choi, to re-establish practicing law. So if he has done so, that was under the guise of his doctor. I believe that's the date. I would have to look at the docket. She did put a note in there, I believe.
Let me take a
Just
look.
lied on the stand. It's perjury.
Relax.
Nothing's been submitted, Your Honor.
I believe I misread Dr. Choi's file on January 13th. I see she posted on March 12th. I may have gotten the confused with the filing of that.
Well,
I'll withdraw my objection.
yeah, if we get past the objection, I'm more than happy to clarify.
It's page 3.
I've already withdrawn.
Yeah, he's been cleared to. Yeah, go ahead.
So, can I clarify? When I said no, I have not been working.
You can wait until a question is asked.
All right. Well, then, what was the question I'm meant to be answering?
You are claiming 6 weeks of lost wages from my client. Have you been practicing since that time?
No, I have not. But apparently, I was in court yesterday, or the day before that. I forget. But I do not recall that.
I'd like to reference the People versus Jordan Steele, Caden Delano, March 18th. Filed March 5th, added into evidence yesterday, Your Honours.
Okay.
Do you recall defending Jordan Steele?
No, I do not. As I had mentioned in the court filing and evidence, I have no recollection of trying a case this week. I don't know how that came to happen, but I do not recall those events, and apparently I didn't do a very good job.
Give me 1 sec. No more questions, Your Honor.
Cross.
Hey, are you gonna bring up like the financial records and shit like that, like
Mr. Braun,
to show that he has got no
did you
financial
overstate
evidence
6 weeks in
stated?
filing for damages?
It'll just be in the closing.
I don't understand the question.
In the filing for damages here,
Yes.
did you ever state lost wages of 6 weeks?
If I recall what I read before we came down here, I said up to 6 weeks of lost wages, somewhere in the language. I don't know what if it said anything besides the number next to lost wages. I would have to look. Would you like me to look?
I would like you to look, because I'm having a tough time finding this 6 weeks.
It's in the second paragraph of the initial filing.
It says $50,000 punitive damages and $150,000 in lost wages.
So nowhere in that filing is there up to 6 weeks.
Correct, though it is sort of averaged out to be about what I make week to week.
You need to
over 6 weeks.
You need to point out there's no evidence of that amount of money
And how do you...
before the closing.
And how are you typically paid?
I'm typically paid by a judge.
And they keep records of what you make per week?
I believe so. You would have to ask them, though. I couldn't confirm that.
Your Honor, you have access to the payment records, I believe.
What the?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm directly addressing the judge.
I swear to God, I'm gonna lose it. Stop talking over each other. I got 20 people talking at the same time. I can't understand what half of you are saying. Alright, now first of all, yes, we do keep track of them. Secondly, none of this was submitted into evidence, requested, etc., so don't even bother going over it. Move on.
No other questions for Mr. Braun?
Would you like to redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you recall writing the initial filing?
No, I do not.
But it is your word?
Yes, I certainly wrote it, but like all my other court filings, they're right there for me to keep track of the time and maintain a timeline.
So you can attest to, and I quote, Mr. Braun believes he may have to endure a medical leave of up to 6 weeks to manage his health complications, end quote.
I have not worked a day since I filed this case, sir, and I will attest to that aside from apparently trying a murder case just the other day. And I don't know if I was
not
talked
apparently,
into
it's
it
public
or
record.
coerced into doing it. I don't remember, but I don't know how I ended up working that day, and I shouldn't have.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Braun, thank you. You may step down. Defense, would you like to call any other witnesses?
Washed up.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, would you like to go over evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
The defendant's rests, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alright, do we need a recess before closing statements?
Yes, give me a few minutes. I need to use the men's room.
Yeah, can we get like a 5 to 10 minute recess?
Let's do a 10-minute recess.
Thank you.
Wow.
So all we have to do is let them express how little evidence they have. In a civil suit, the preponderance of evidence is on them to show that you have screwed them over. They've got nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna see if Splano got that second.
Yeah. I'm gonna go have a smoke.
That's like $300.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, are we ready to proceed?
Yes. I am not excited over the light.
Alright, plaintiff, go ahead. Closing.
Up, back in session. Back in session. Let's calm down.
Sorry, what was that? I
Go
had
ahead, do
district
your
attorneys.
closing. Oh.
Ms. Summers is admitted to committing battery on Mr. Braun. Mr. Braun is having lingering effects due to his injury suffered from a gunshot wound. After Ms. Summers committed battery on him. She pled guilty to this charge. Officer Frank Williams has testified that Miss Summers had struck Mr. Braun. Mr. Braun is ongoing medical treatment with Dr. Choi. Mr. Braun is also unable to perform his duties as a lawyer at this time. He suffers from memory loss. He suffers from headaches. He somehow has 2 eyes, which I still don't know.
Eye transplant.
I'm not a medical professional. I don't know how that happened. I'm amazed at modern technology, and I hope Mr. Braun gets a speedy recovery from this battery committed by Miss Sonya Summers, who's wholly responsible for the damages that we have pressed today. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, go ahead.
Your Honor, the court. There is no medical report to support the plaintiff's claims. The medical release form has no restrictions
Objection,
leading up to.
relevance.
What is it?
Also, the medical report was given orally
It's
by
a
the
closing.
doctor.
Yeah, we have testimony from Dr. Choi, so this thing to our medical report doesn't
Let
matter.
him have his closing, you idiot.
I can object during the closing if there's no
Hey,
relevance to it.
no more interruptions. Miss Summers, keep your mouth quiet. Attorney can speak.
So
An
for
objection can
closings-
happen for a closing. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For closings, the only objections I want to hear is if it was facts not entered into evidence, misstatement of testimony, opinion of a layperson, etc.
All right, objections, facts not entered into evidence because there's no medical report, but we have Dr. Choi's testimony, which would be the same report.
So there's, if I may, Your Honor,
Mm-hmm.
there's no medical report, and I stated there's no medical report. So you're objecting.
Okay, and we have the testimony from a sworn witness in this court case as to her profession and as to her treatment of the plaintiff.
I'm going to overrule though because there was no physical medical report attached
Right.
to evidence. But go ahead, continue.
There is no medical report to support the plaintiff's claims. The medical release form has no restrictions listed. There is no evidence to support even an approximation of lost salary. The plaintiff claims my client is liable for 6 weeks lost salary, but it is publicly listed that he's been practicing law since filing. The only liability proven with the preponderance of evidence presented is that allowing Murphy Braun to practice law in this state is a mistake, and I fear for the well-being of the citizens trusting him to provide sound legal advice and the defense they are entitled to. That is all, Your Honor.
I didn't get paid for that case, you son of a bitch.
And you
Purple
shouldn't.
shoes.
So you do remember it?
Good job. Oh, he remembered it. He lied again.
I don't
Look at that.
remember.
All
It's
right.
written
so
down
anyway,
though.
I'm gonna
I
call
got
this court
billed
to recess,
$10,000 over it.
Everybody outside while I deliberate. Thanks. Court is in
But nice
recess.
try.
All right, everyone calm down, please.
Maybe he does have brain
Larry,
damage.
you're the bailiff.
I don't think that's in denial.
Please, they wanted you guys out. Come.
Seems pretty inactive, so I don't know if he has like specific criteria or not.
Here, I got you.
She's a doctor. Never mind.
Oh my God! Everybody. Yeah.
Alright,
it'll do.
moment of truth.
All right, do we have everyone back in the courtroom?
It's true. It's
I believe everyone relevant to the litigation. Yes, Your Honor.
personal
All
care.
right, thank you. Okay, I will go ahead and call this court back into session at this time. After careful deliberation, Judge Katia and myself have come to the conclusion here that Miss Sonya Summers is responsible for damages to Murphy Braun. Now, punitive damages awarded to Murphy Braun will be $15,000.
Oh.
Miss Summers, you will have 10 days to either pay the court the $15,000 or you will pay Mr. Braun directly. If If you do pay Mr. Braun directly, I recommend that you get a receipt. If you pay me like you did last time for Mr. Rinson, I will give you a receipt and I will make sure that Mr. Braun gets that money. Now on to the subject of lost wages.
Here we go.
Here at the Department of Justice, the state is responsible for paying the attorneys. Now, after careful deliberation as well, even though Mr. Braun was out of work by the actions of Miss Summers, we are not going to hold her accountable for that.
Oh.
The state will therefore pay Mr. Braun the sum of $35,000 for lost wages. This is the ruling of the court. This case is dismissed. As I did say, Miss Summers, you have 10 days from today to pay Mr. Braun. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you do not pay Mr. Braun, you will be in violation of a court order where you will go to prison until you pay Mr. Braun. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And we can get together later in the other city to take care of that. If you would like to pay me, or you can pay Mr. Braun, one or the other. It is your choice, ma'am, and I will leave that up to you. This case is now dismissed. If there's any questions, people
Thank you,
can
Your
come
Honor.
up and freely ask myself and Judge Kati here any questions that you may
Thank
have.
fuck that's not coming from
ruling or
Sonya.
How we came to our decision in this court case.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honors.
you, Your Honor, and thank you everyone for your time here today.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up, and I'm glad that we've got this case out of the way and it's past us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
15K.